Hello and welcome back to Jujutsu Quest. I'm Sam.
And I'm Jim.
And welcome back to our anime-only Jujutsu Kaisen recap discussion podcast where we are discussing episode 32, 33, and 34 of the Shibuya arc.
Shibuya Incident.
The first episode is the Shibuya Incident, though.
And then it's Shibuya Incident gate open.
We'll get there.
And then Shibuya Incident gate closed.
I have it all up here on this godforsaken wiki site just so I could have the names for context. Fandom was very bad, but so yeah, the Gojo shit happens.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. This is like the big thing. I think we also saw this is like the domain expansion meme because I've seen that meme like crazy on Twitter like a year ago, and I guess it's from this arc when he does his domain expansion scene because it's kind of legendary.
The famous where every character says domain expansion afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's where that shot came from. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we are, I guess, in balls deep into the Shibuya incident, the Shibuya arc.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We've got like two plots that we're kind of juggling here. We've got the Gojo stuff and the Yuji stuff.
With everybody else kind of sprinkled in the kind of spread, have the like we mentioned the Chimera Ant, like where is everybody at this moment kind of stuff in there.
You got to do like the setup. You have to give everyone their little setup arc.
And like all these weird villains of the week that are setting up, even some characters that we saw that are villains that are might be wild cards later on, as we've seen, as we'll talk to, because there's some major revelations as well.
Yeah, there's kind of a crazy one here that like it really shakes up like how I look at the show, like the current like bad guy situation.
Yeah. So where we begin, Gojo is like inside like the subways thing, and we kind of he has a really cool thing where he walks on people's heads.
It's really funny. It's funny because like most people can't see like they can't see the bad guys, but everyone can see Gojo. So like people just see Gojo like standing on top of rails and stuff.
I did like when they had the Gojo with all the bad guys. Like, hey, why are those two guys talking about it? Like, what do you mean? I see four guys, and like the one guy is human. It's like, okay, they keep in that thing of like humans can't really see curses, like,
which makes sense. Yeah, it's good. It's really cool because like oftentimes when you're in a big arc like this and shit's hitting the fan, you don't have to deal with the collateral damage. Like you don't have to worry about people just standing there and not knowing what's going on.
Yeah,
because like they always just kind of run away in time, but in this one it's like a very important aspect of the fight that there's all these humans around, which is really clever.
Yes, and that's when he basically gets on the track, and we have like the bad guy crew walks up, which is Hanami, which is the wood person, the Jogo, of course, somehow the volcano Krakatoa, the Squidward power person. And we have Choso, who is, I don't think we've met before. He's like a blood guy. I think I'm gonna assume he's related to the blood guy from the tournament arc.
I believe Gojo speculated that he was related to like the poisoned womb.
Yeah.
Stuff, which is interesting because
he mentions
I know what he means by that.
He does mention of getting revenge on Yuji for like something related to someone to his family member or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I think he did like embarrass him, I guess, in a baseball game or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's like our kind of bad guy squad. Oh well, there's also Mojito shows up later.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
I think he's gonna show up to the second episode, but then between that setup, we have what's it called, Mei and Yuji. That's this other team now. We have Mei, Yuji, and she had like a butler named like Yu,
yeah.
UI.
Yeah, Yi maybe.
Yi ass haircut.
But so this character keeps saying One-san to Mei.
But she's
Mei, so it's not clear.
It is her younger brother.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Okay, Wiki said it is her younger brother.
I was gonna say it's either her younger brother or like that's like a trope in anime.
It is a trope still of just like the sister sis-con and bro-cons kind of thing in there. I've seen. And so, yeah, he basically exists to carry her axe around.
I'm sure he's going to have an epic supernova power or
He has
something.
a gun. He has a normal gun.
He pulls a gun out.
The shotgun.
He does the thing from It's Always Sunny where he just, like, lifts his shirt up and he has, like, a gun tucked in his jeans.
Or, like, pocket sand.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's our other team now. We didn't see him last episode, but now we have another set of people as well. Because they get split up as later on in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
So basically they get, say to go through the station, find one of the veils or one of the people doing the veils. And it could be Mojito, it could not be. Because we remember she has like the bird. She's like, Mekamaru where she has like, she sees through birds essentially.
Yeah, it's interesting because like It seems like she's kind of taking direct control of them. Like, it's not like she's just...
They said she shares her perception.
Yeah, but she's clearly, like, making the birds go into the... Like, birds don't just, like, for fun, like, in groups fly in subways.
If they met someone like Mei Mei, they would listen to her, I am assuming. With her braid in her hair, which is very funny. They just keep it there so they don't have to, like, animate, like, her talking or anything other than when, like, it's on the side.
It's funny, too, because, like, you never know if she's standing,
it gets bigger
in front of you or not. Yeah.
It expands every so often where you cover up her
domain expansion. It's just her hair gets bigger.
That'd be very good. I love that. But, yeah. So we basically get, like, you know, you can go fight the grunts, or you want to fight the one boss, the mini boss.
Who is, like, protecting the veil, or who is responsible for the veil.
And the veils are, like, the little, like, nails that we saw. At least we saw it once in the Mekumaru fight, but we see it again when he's fighting the grasshopper guy. Yeah,
they're wrapped in, like, that kind of, like, a cursed paper or whatever.
I do like this fight being a stomp, though. Like, I didn't care about the grasshopper personality and trying to do the humor of, like, the cleverness thing, but I do love this fight just being a one-way stomp. Even, like, I got my trick, and, like, fuck you, fuck your dick, and just crushes it.
It was funny that he punched his dick. Like, I feel like that's one of those things that, like, could be used, like, as a out of context panel. Like, Yuji literally just, like, smashing blood, and there's, like, this grasshopper's dick.
Very funny when we're watching, like, the Mekumaru to Mojito fight, where, like, you know, Mojito would just, like, expand his dick as a weapon, and, like, and his, like, ass as, like, as a cushion or something, but they can't do that for, like, Sansa, right? But he totally would, like, mollywop somebody.
I want to see him fucking make his ass get really big and, like, lands on it. Like, thankfully my ass broke my fall.
No, he has to save it for his, like, infinite pants that never rip, or, like, just part of it. The void pants.
So yeah, we see.
It's just a stomp. It's like
a funny little fight. I actually really did not like the humor. I found the humor's not good. To be annoying.
Yeah, I enjoy the fight. I enjoy him get a good punch down. Just I thought he beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, it's fine. The one thing I liked about it was the little, like, Araki moment where it talks about how dangerous locusts are. And it was
very funny. I was not expecting, like, a locust.
It is kind of, like, scary. I mean, it's kind of a way to justify, because first grasshopper was like, what is a grasshopper really? But I was like, oh yeah, like, a locust is.
I think we're gonna get Kamen Rider shit into here too.
Basically, right?
They've been nothing but references the entire past episodes.
So,
as we both take a drink simultaneously.
Yeah, I know. I just realized that was bad.
That was amazing. If because why that silence there is we both take a slurp.
But so yeah, it was a fine little fight, I guess. Thankfully no Black Flash. I am like, I want to start, like, a counter, like, how many days since last Black Flash.
There's been a big time jump. There's like 10 days, like, literally.
Yeah, there has actually been.
So yeah, so basically Yuji just wins, kills the curse, breaks the one talisman to lower the curtain, and so yeah, and then they say meet back up. Good job, you did good.
Yeah, what's her face just killed a bunch of the Mojito ghosts or Mojito spirits.
But yeah, Mojito's like, oh wow, you beat the guy. I can't fight right now because I'm up to some wacky, silly thing, which is just convert an entire train of people into monsters.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was, like, the next episode thing, but we see, like, Yuji runs up to a guy who's, like, shell-shocked. Yeah, and he's like, what happened? Was there a guy here? And he's like, they couldn't let me on the train. And then it became like a big ghost.
It is a jump scare in, like, a horror game where, like, they just explode or, like, have something horrible happen to them. Also, they mentioned, like, Yuji's like, oh, Mojito, that's the guy Junpei mentioned the name of. I'm like, yeah, no one really mentions the names of him.
It's funny because we see so many scenes of the villains plotting, like, it's
talking to each other like they're friends.
It does make sense that, like, first off, nobody knows Mojito's name. Second off, no one knows the cuttlefish exists. I'm pretty sure that no one has seen the cuttlefish.
Not said a line in this entire. He's been in the background, like, nonstop.
And now he's, like, wrapped up in, like, blankets.
I guess.
Is it supposed to be like a marriage thing? I don't know.
It's a soaked blanket.
I just love the idea of, like, Hanami, quick, you have to go find a water fountain so we can soak these floods.
We were going underground the entire time. Why did we not bring him to the dam where he probably would have been a lot more useful?
But so
yeah,
I guess that's really everything with Yuji until the Gojo shit. So yeah, I think we can shift over to Gojo.
So yeah, we have the fight. Gojo basically just ripped off his like eye guard and just talks shit on them. Like their entire strategy is we're gonna make people fall in here and just like make human casualties, and he's gonna get sloppy. But Gojo's like, oh, there's gonna be casualties. I have to accept that. So
Gojo has like no problem with like a lot of people dying here.
It's like if I have to take this risk to the if I take these guys out who are going to cause more deaths in the future, essentially.
And I have to say, like in hindsight, I'm getting like Gantz vibes from
Gantz.
Yeah, Gantz vibes from I'm using the German pronunciation of this, because there's so much fucking bloodshed. Like every time there's like an alien threat in Gantz, it's like nothing but humans exploding and dying.
We meant like up there, like maybe Chimera Ant of like the body count that like the bad guys just just do. It's just crazy.
But so especially the fucking blood dude, Chozo.
Yeah.
He's just like exploding heads left and right. It's crazy.
And he doesn't land a single attack yet, which is very funny. But they just try to fight him, and like they try to do like the simple domain stuff to try to get into him, but it still doesn't work on Gojo.
Yeah, what do they call it? There's like a certain name. So they're basically
domain amplification. Yeah,
so the idea is that they're kind of, rather than expanding their own domain, which they couldn't do because it would hurt everyone, apparently.
They said if you kill everybody here, eventually Gojo's gonna have to use his ability, and you're fucked with no limitations of his ability.
They're really reliant. It's actually a really interesting setup because they're reliant on the hostages living.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter if they kill a few. Like, as long as there's not a complete fucking wipe of all the hostages.
Yeah. Any kind of leverage you would have is just gonna be gone if you use your domain. So I do like the limitations of you can't use your aura, your stupid one hit kill ability.
And so they have kind of like an inverse version, which is funny because that's kind of a thing that we see with like the curse powers. There's always like an inverse, an anti-curse power. With this, it's like instead of bringing you into their domain, it's like they're almost bringing their domain out of them, and while it's not guaranteeing like the hit for sure like you would inside a domain, it is like basically Kaioken super power up. Like they're just really strong.
But he just beats the crap out of them, like removes limbs, like they can't land a hit. He's too fucking strong.
It's so funny how they're like, haha, we put you in checkmate, and he's like, I'm like literally the strongest guy ever. Like it doesn't matter if I can't do my superpowers.
It's like oh, this is fun now. Like I had to use like because I see the next episode. Because it goes to the next episode, which is the Shibuya incident gate open, where he's like, okay, I won't use that power. I'm just gonna use CQC, and he just like obliterates. Like this is some of the best animation of the season so far.
It was that I think it was what episode or the first like 5 minutes of that episode,
and then episode 33 in general is
just like insane. Like there's one shot where when he throws Jogo, and Jogo is like sliding like right above the ground. It looked amazing.
CQC, yeah. And then he does this one actually like, oh, wood guy, I'm gonna kill you first. And like, oh, that's a misdirect, but no, he actually does kill the guy. He also jumps on his eyes, like when you get, oh, using your ability that just opens you up and just removes his eye branches.
That was fucking awesome.
It's fucking brutal.
That really reminded me of something else too. It kind of reminds me of One Punch Man, when One Punch Man rips off the lobster, the very first episode,
yeah,
when he rips the lobster guy's eye off, and it's just like a trail of viscera coming out.
It's like an over-the-top like Mortal Kombat fatality where it's not logical, but somehow you got their entire skeleton out of their eyes.
Yeah, there's just more and more. It's like
some rib cages, like multiple rib cages.
A magician pulling the flags out.
And yeah, it's just the CQC is just awesome to watch.
One thing too that I like about that was that like he pointed out like, hey Hanami, I'm coming for you, but he only kept going after Jogo to like taunt Hanami, and then like the moment that he used his technique was when he had to drop his domain acceleration or whatever it's called. So then that's when Gojo was like, I'm going to fucking ruin your life. And so, okay, what happens after that? So Hanami and Jogo are both on sides of Gojo. But what I think is happening is that, like, because they're pressing all the force and Hanami is now weakened, Gojo is literally just like, all right, I'm just going to, like, crush you with your own domain energy,
and push you into this wall, and then, yeah.
Because he smiles and, like, walks into him, and he just literally gets misted. Another fucking Gantz moment.
It's so good. I'm finally glad one of these fuckers is dead.
It was so fucking shocking and satisfying. I was so happy.
Pop like a pimple.
Yeah, literally. It was so awesome. And like, it's funny too when the curses talk to each other about like, Hinami's dead. They don't care too much. Like, they're a little sad, but they don't care that much.
Like, oh, we're gonna burn down the forest. They're like, oh, Hinami's get pissed off at it. Like, he's dead. Like, oh.
Yeah. Fucking Mojito's like, oh, I'm like, whatever.
But yeah, it's just super satisfying. And just like the slow head turn to Jogo. I'm like, please kill Jogo. But somehow, some way, Jogo lives.
So I think this is when
Jogo is the buggy clown of
he really is. I was kind of starting to like Jogo. Like I kind of want Jogo to like hang out. But he's evil. He has to die.
Yeah, he murdered so many people. Yeah. Incinerated so many people. But yeah, Gojo.
Jogo also yells at Chozo for not like helping him. He's like, "Are you gonna fucking do anything?" Like,
yeah, Chozo. Yeah, Chozo like tried to shoot more blood at him by just shooting people
But no one can get close to fucking Gojo because of his
and
power.
that's when you said earlier that he's a death painting womb, and
Okay.
and that's when he decides to. You're like, I'll save you for later. You're a human, I guess. So, I'm trying to double check what the if you remember what the poison womb
So
forever ago, if you remember.
because I thought the whole thing with that was like they were using the fingers because how they
It's
found
like
the first finger.
they're
Or,
like
well, not one of the first fingers.
they're like human fetuses that grow, and I'm assuming he's one that actually they're like half human, half cursed. So he's like I guess that one that actually like gave birth, and I guess the one he killed in that first season was the one he wants revenge on because he did mention a sibling.
Oh, that does make sense.
So I'm assuming that's what he meant now. I remember what it gave a little like mind recap of it.
Who were the brothers at the end? They weren't. Were they? They were also
The brothers. You mean the girls?
no. The three brothers that they fought, that Nobara and Yuji fought at the end. Were
They fought two brothers.
Well, there were three total. The one got killed. I think.
They both got killed.
What's his? Well, they all got killed, but what's his face fought the first one.
Megumi fought.
Megumi fought the first
alone.
one. Yeah, weren't they? I think they were also Cursed Womb. I might be wrong.
I guess.
But I think they were also Cursed Womb guys.
I can see it. They seemed like it. So.
Because it was like a merging between a human and
well, they wiped out that wiped out that
gone.
family. They annihilated them. So there's nothing left. So yeah, and then that's when Gojo still fucks them up more, but that's when I guess he has to. They basically gonna go to do like domain expansion. Like they're gonna kill everybody, and Gojo's like. And he does the most insane.
Well, we didn't talk about Mojito joins the fray.
Oh yeah, Mojito comes in with the train. That's
so
right.
he filled a train car full of humans and then turned them all into
civilians, and also they broke the ceiling to drop more humans onto here as well. And yeah, so basically everything starts to attack, and Gojo's like, I gotta do it, and this is insane for power scaling for people debating like his power level, and so he used his domain expansion, the what's it called? The Infinite. I have to double check the name on here.
Infinite something or other.
I
can't remember all these names.
It's Unlimited Void.
Yes, there we go.
And he uses it for 2/10 of a second.
I think so.
So so what it says is that basically every human that's alive there, they learn 6 months of knowledge essentially, and they all go comatose for like an extended period of time, standing up. And they don't recover until 2 months after. And this is him limiting his ability as much as he can.
Yeah,
much.
Literally, I think it says that is what he thinks to be the most that a human could withstand.
This is what he estimated. This is not even the fact that he had. He guessed this.
Yeah, so basically, it's like the idea. We've talked about this before, but it's like Halloween from Chainsaw Man, where it's like the idea that instantly immense amounts of information go into your brain. You just wouldn't be able to compute imagine that is so 6 months worth of experiences of learning things
and the curses also get affected by it. They're not affected as long as them, but they're still KO'd.
It is funny how long they are KO'd after the fact.
Mojito and Jogo are both knocked out.
It's minutes later that because Geto does his little gambit first.
He destroys all 1,000 of them in 299 seconds.
Yeah, that scene is actually really fucking awesome. Him running around,
his eyes stressed out.
Them. Yeah, it's Gojo really backed up against the wall. This is exactly what this fucking show needed. We needed an excuse to make Gojo really sweat.
I mean,
and lose. And
we saw it in the early season too, where he got freaking murked for all the fights he was in until the last one, until he got better, and he learned his powers to be unstoppable. But yeah, then he's exhausted, and then we get the Gojo appears and does the prison realm and gets him locked up or talks to him a little bit. So this is when we kind of have a big revelation.
First off, there were a lot of little flashbacks.
Yes.
Explaining their plan. They kept cutting back to the bad guys.
Their plan is to keep him distracted until his shit's ready.
Yeah, and
or until he's exhausted, so he can't fight back.
It's just really interesting the amount of effort that is put in animation wise, the mahjong scene. They animate every little detail of the character movements.
I was like, man, these curses have intelligence and they have to learn mahjong. It's the worst thing. The worst thing in Yakuza games is to learn how to play mahjong.
I can't even comprehend how to play mahjong, honestly.
Those touchscreen bar games lied to me of they're not just a matching game.
Yeah, when I was younger, I thought it was a matching game.
So every kid whose parents brought him to a bar or a place that had those touchscreen bar games. Lied.
But yeah, so they do a lot of backstory into that, but I guess that's not as important. But yeah, so once Gojo
No, yeah,
has been trapped, and we know that it's like the plan has worked.
Geto basically he just distracted like a lot by seeing Geto for the first time, and that like kind of like stun locks him. And after he's trapped, he learns that this man is not Geto. This is like a weird like brain curse that's like body hops, I guess. And can retain the memories and powers of that person. And
so to prove it, he literally like takes the stitches out of his head and lifts his fucking like scalp off, and you see there's like a little mouth on the brain.
Yes, and he's like somebody that, oh, you fucking died. Like, I know you're dead. Like, just.
So it can't be. So okay, we know for sure it's not Secunda.
No,
because like they still keep talking about rezzing him. So
is there just another curse, or like maybe another demon king kind of tier?
It is kind of weird that we don't have like any idea what it could be. And also it kind of takes the winds out of the sails a bit that it's not Geto, because okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about this actually. Geto was like my favorite character in Jujutsu Kaisen from like the movie and from the flashbacks. I thought he was so interesting.
He was fascinating.
And now that we know, the only Geto we've ever seen that's been real Geto has been in the movie and the flashbacks.
Yes. He's still in there because we see a scene where like he's like, "Hey, you're gonna take that shit, are you, Geto?" And Geto's like arms are choking his head.
Yeah. So there is a chance, and I think what it's setting up is there is a chance for Geto to have a redemption and then die. But
I mean, he did kill that cult leader on live screen, live stream, and then like take over a cult. So
I mean, yeah, no, Geto is not a good guy, but like this is not the Geto that we know.
Yeah. And so he said he killed him in like 1 year ago, gets at the end of the movie and everything. So maybe he thought, he spared him or something because they had a past or something. But no, he actually did kill him, and they just took his body somewhere and transferred him.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, so Yuta did kill Geto. That's crazy.
Or I think at the end he got away, but then Gojo meets up with him at the end, and you think, oh, did he kill him? Did he not kill him? He obviously didn't kill him because we see him now, so maybe it's like a misdirect, like, oh, he didn't kill him, he spared his friend.
But
no,
it's so sad, and like, because the thing that like Gojo says that it was like, he's like, my eyes are telling me that it's Geto Suguru, but my soul, my heart says it's not.
Even after all these things, that's like the one time he breaks is seeing his best friend.
Yeah.
Not being puppeted, I guess.
Yeah, it's like it's honestly worse than if he was just evil, like because
he's like, yeah, you got me, I'm trapped here, but oh man, you felt it.
Yeah, like that's why like I feel two ways about it. Like I like the fact that Geto still has some agency in there. Like clearly he's fighting back, so it's not like Geto is just dead 100%. And also I like the fact that it makes it really complicated for Gojo too. His best friend is dead now. Like,
they refer to him as pseudo Geto on the wiki. But what I do love is that's like, okay, you're capturing me, but you do know the person that defeated your body, Yuta, is still out there. Like, you're like, he's not special. Nothing interesting about him. He beat this body, but I'm better.
It's very funny that they just wave away Yuta. And they show scenes from the movie, too, which I was surprised about.
You're like, man, somebody just skipped the movie or didn't know about the movie and just watched it to be very confused.
Yeah. Thankfully, it's on Crunchyroll, so if you were to watch it, you probably would see that and be like, oh, I should watch this.
He also thinks, like, oh, yeah, his girlfriend, his childhood, that girl that died, she's gone. He moved on from her. She's gone. There's nothing special about him. Like, you know about his power, his real power, I guess, of, like, he can just turn people into cursed spirits, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't know about that, but yeah, and then he gets sealed up, and Yuji is also contacted by a Mekumaru earpiece, so that's kind of his last gambit. We did kind of predict that, but this is kind of like
worse than that, honestly. So
this is like a final ripple that can talk,
and it's not even that it can just talk; it can like think and learn and feel. Like
it's a supercomputer. Yeah,
it's like. So yeah, the episode begins with like a computer kind of like showing like a boot up sequence. And
I do like in the next episode that in episode 34, Pandemonium, that he explains like I literally like had to do all these steps around it so they wouldn't notice I had this backup plan in case they died.
I know, I hate that because to me it's like, oh, how does the backup plan work? Did it find the person? Like, did it find Yuji? Or was it there?
He put a program in it. Okay, first off, I'll go ahead, but the program he had was first off, it triggers from Gojo specifically being sealed. Like, it's so specific, like, I had to make it that way so they wouldn't figure, this thing launching, or it'd be late enough they wouldn't notice it. And then they say, okay, Yuji, you were trusted because you were brought in way after, like, very recent, so you're
Yeah.
not suspicious. And Mei, like, I have my reasons, but you were not suspicious either. Like, you didn't really go into detail about her, but like you're trusted too.
But why? Okay, I just hate to like be that guy, but why was he able to do it this way? Like, why couldn't he have just said, "If I die, have a little cell phone, find Yuji, and tell him that on Halloween bad shit's gonna happen"? Like,
Well,
I don't know.
No, he knew about the Halloween plan.
Yeah, I know. Like, why? The whole point in the beginning of the or like when he dies, is that he's trying to get to communicate to Gojo. That's like he says literally, "I win if I can tell Gojo this." Why would he not like make another condition of, "Oh, if I die, my little robot computer finds Gojo and whispers in his ear that he's gonna die or whatever." Like, it's just if to me it's like a little contrived, and if it had been explained a different way, I would feel a little better about it.
Yeah, it says it wasn't set to activate until Gojo had been sealed. That he only left 3 devices, and only one of them was left to Mei's team. So,
also again to the team, like
because they're the most trusted one out of everybody.
But how could he have foreseen like the breakdown of the teams? I don't know. This is like the most frustrating thing to me. It's like I understand that they write themselves into a corner by not having cell phone access, but like. Is this really the best way to go about this? This is like my biggest complaint with this arc. I think it's dumb. I understand why. Like, I know they gave him a big fucking final ripple moment.
And they have to have also have everybody learn about like Gojo being stealing somewhere because no one's there.
Yeah, and then he also is like a little camera that can see, which I feel like they could have literally just.
Well, it's they say okay, Gojo is there. Like he's stuck there because he's fucking Gojo. Like you can't move him. And he's just there to be an end. And
I just don't understand. I mean,
and to get all the teams like on the same page, like Yuji sending Yuji up there.
I get that, but it's just like I feel like as a power, it feels so broken that it could have just been used.
He's gonna disappear soon anyway. After the arc, I guess.
This is dumb. Why didn't he? If he knew that he was going to be killed by Mojito, why did he not just send his little bugs out? Like, before they even showed up to his, like, fucking dam facility that he owns.
Yeah.
It's just dumb.
But yeah, Gojo gets sealed. That's where the choking happens when he talked out of the Godo.
Yeah.
Pseudo Godo is the funniest thing that comes up.
Pseudo Godo is really fucking funny. Pseudo Ghetto. I will not say it, though.
Pseudo Ghetto.
I'm just gonna call him Ghetto.
Yeah, basically all the bad guys wake up, and that's when like we see the cube. So the prison is just a cube with a bunch of eyes on it.
It's a hell cube.
It's the hypercube, 4-dimensional hypercube.
Mm.
And so yeah, and Gojo just like because he's Gojo, he just makes it weigh so much knowledge in it just weighs down.
Yeah, they need to like there's like we see inside like once, and there's a bunch of like these little chattering skeletons in there. And they're like, I guess, processing his information, which is fucking silly. That like, it's really funny to me that like a cursed like prison needs to like check your data before you can like get locked up in there.
Yeah. So basically, they say the Mekumaru with the Yuji squad, like you guys gotta split up. One of you gotta take Jake the human and Jake the dog and Finn the human.
Yeah.
Coming in there to fight him. The other one's gotta go warn the other squads, like Nanami and all of them. And Yuji goes. He goes out there. Mei gets her axe.
He was like, I have the world record for doing sprinting in high school, so I'll do this.
I can punch. I can punch. I can climb buildings with the greatest.
The part when he just like climbs a building, I was like, yeah, this guy is just fucking Spider-Man now. He's just a superhuman.
So yeah, and then also when the thing weighs down, the bad guys they have a discussion like, oh, I'm gonna go find Yuji and kill him. No, I'm gonna go find Yuji and kill him. No, we shouldn't kill him because we need him for Sukuna because Sukuna's gonna help us. I'm like. I do like, okay, Sukuna probably won't help us, but if he doesn't, we're gonna have the curses be, like, the dominant species.
Yeah. And I like how Jogo's the one that's like, no, like, Sukuna is not gonna help us. Like, he's not a guaranteed friend.
But he's better to, like, have alive than, than anything else. And yeah, so basically gonna have a game of, like, the 3 other go off while Geto sits there and camps.
And Jogo even says, like, well, we know they're gonna come here, so let's just wait here. And then Mojito's like, I'm going first, and runs out.
After seeing several Joker Halloween costumes, he has to run off. I saw Freddy Krueger as well in the crowd.
Yeah, there were at least 2 Jokers.
It was very funny.
There was one that looked exactly like him from the Joaquin Phoenix movie.
So good. I love that.
It's very funny how that has become more iconic than the Heath Ledger one.
Jared Leto.
Or the Jared Leto one was never iconic.
Damaged. But so yeah, everybody runs off. So basically, have everybody splitting up. So they're gonna run into some people because we have everybody scattered. And so yeah, we basically get Yuji yelling for Nanami. And basically, Nanami squad comes to him, and we have the split up.
He literally, this is like the stupidity of Jujutsu Kaisen that I love.
Well, the city's...
He literally jumps on top of a building and screams, Nanami!
Well, the city's abandoned and quiet like that. Everybody's underground.
Well, some parts are. I mean, like, there's still people out and about. People looked at Gojo. Well, he actually... Not Gojo. Yuji had to, like, fight some of Mojito's cursed guys, too, which is kind of weird. They were just up there.
Yeah, he punched the crap out of him. And, yeah, so Nami meets up. Nami's gonna go off alone, and everybody else, like Megumi and the Ino, who's the beanie guy, who still don't know anything about, and they're gonna go off.
We saw him fight kind of once, but I don't think we saw him...
It black screened fight, where I'm gonna take care of the leftover Mojito, and then nothing happens.
We don't know what his, like, ability is.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and that's the plan, essentially, is to go, get rid of the veils and rescue Gojo, like the two things, and they know they wanted to go find the other people around there, like Maki's squad and what's it called? Is Maki and Panda. They want to go find those two.
Which we did see Panda cleaning up the trash.
Yes. So, also, periodically, we see the return of Incel and...
Sedward Elric shows up.
Yes. And with the one character that appeared that nobody knew who it was, the mysterious child.
Yeah, the white-haired child. We don't know if it's a boy or girl. It seems ambiguous. Who's
the member of Killua's family that was like very similar vibes?
Oh, I forget the name, but his younger sister.
Yes.
Who is male but presents as female.
The creepy one that joined the spiders for a short time.
Yeah, they use like a paper, like little paper
origami
attacks. Yeah.
And we have those two, and then we cut back to Ghetto, and we see the two girls that real Ghetto rescued in the prologue stuff, and we see him. I think we saw him in Zero, I think, as well a little bit.
Which one?
The two girls that he rescued in the prison.
they show up in Zero as well. I was so happy. That was another thing that like dispelled my upsettedness about Ghetto being like a brain controlled zombie, because like that was a huge thing for like his arc. His arc is like that he literally killed like his whole hometown, but because they mistreated these two girls. So having them be like,
you give him we worked with you. Give us the body back. I'm not gonna give you the body back. I gave a brain transplant on. You think I'm gonna give the body back? And you're like, you're gonna regret this. And I'm like, we got a third party. We got bad guys going to be at the other bad guys.
It's so exciting to me.
I'm excited for that. I love all the things coming together. I like these bad guys actually splintering off of each other. Because,
and it's cool too. Like something that like once the reveal that Ghetto is not really Ghetto, it almost kind of lowers him from being like a mastermind to being equals. Like the way he and Mojito talk in that scene, because like before it seems like he was pulling the strings, but now it's like, oh no, he's just like, it's this kind of group of curses that are all working together in like a weird alliance. So it makes sense that like they might bicker and they might go head to head.
Yeah,
which is exciting.
So yeah, and then basically it just ends of like them splitting off, like all the protagonists splitting off, but saying like, okay, also was Gojo trapped? Everybody that's like secretly waiting in the shadows is going to come out, and we already saw that a little bit in the after credits scene. But so get ready for that, because Gojo falls, shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's exciting.
And then we get that flash that's obviously from like a manga panel of like all the people in the arc appearing in like sections. I love that. And so that's where it ends.
And it's one thing it is clever. You mentioned how we saw like the people at the end. I like that because when Yuji was yelling for Nanami and he's so stupid he just yelled so all of Toko could hear, that the bad guys heard too. Like I think that's a good like.
It's like, oh shit, for real.
It's like I have to deal with my like I have to deal with like the actions of my consequences.
What you saw.
Yeah.
No shit.
So and they seem like a jobber squad anyway, but
you get what you fucking deserve.
Yeah.
But I love these episodes. Like the whole Gojo fight was like a chef's kiss. Like that was awesome.
It's like exactly what I was hoping for.
It's up there for like that like Maki fight she had in the tournament arc, where I'm like, oh, this is just chef kiss. I can watch this.
Yeah. I
can watch this beat down. It's great. And I want to see what these fights are gonna lead to. We have all the bad guy factions around here now. Like, I'm wondering who else could just pop up now, because Toto has to show up at some point. He's in the OP.
Yeah, it feels like there's definitely going to be some fun surprises.
I gotta see Boogie Woogie.
That's the fun part, is we're kind of entering that stage where like chaos, like shit hits the fan, like everyone's scattering.
We are at the mansion in Chimera Ant where
Yeah.
everybody's going to enact their plan of splitting off.
Mhm.
And they're going to encounter the weirdest people, and they're going to have a weird moment where the most important moment is involving a bad guy against another bad guy.
Yeah.
I freaking love Chimera Ant.
One thing I just remembered right now that is funny. So kind of recently, after I had watched the movie again, Jujutsu Kaisen
I want to watch
Zero.
that. I should rewatch that. It's been a while.
I think I was actually trying to get a thumbnail for the last episode, and I typed in ghetto. And you know what words I saw when I typed in ghetto?
Death.
Ghetto death. So I was like...
That's like every character.
I know. So at first I was like, damn it, I guess he's going to die. And then I was like, well, it happens to every character. But now, knowing what happened, Ghetto died like off screen years ago. That is like way more... What a great way to be revealed that.
It was funny. I saw like the volume cover of like Ghetto, and it's the one with like him sitting with like his putting a thumb on his like, little stitching in his brain with a tongue up there. Like, that's funny. That's fun. That's a fun ability he probably has. I'm like, oh no, the hindsight, no. I didn't think anything of that because I think,
yeah,
oh, that's
like how could you have anticipated
it's
that?
a fun spirit thing where he keeps some of the spirits in his head.
Yeah.
But no, actually, a scar actually used for a brain transplant. Like, also, dude, like he sewed it up too.
Yeah, it was really cool.
But yeah, like it makes me think again about Ghetto. Like now, I'm like, man, all that character progression you had going up there, man. I hope he can come back in a way, but
so yeah, that's how I was feeling at first. But like with the girls, like having those two girls be there, it still justifies all of the character progression he had.
Yeah.
Even though he's dead, and like same with Gojo too, like it justifies everything he did, even though he's not around anymore.
We had this fun little cult, and then this new guy brought his incel from Full Metal Alchemist to ruin the day, and this emo blood guy.
Yeah, it's kind of... I'm trying to think of another example. Sometimes in stories, there are characters that they don't get like the focus they need, but like they serve as like an inflection point for like inspiring all these other characters and arcs, and that's kind of what Ghetto, OG Ghetto, not pseudo Ghetto,
the real Ghetto.
Yeah. But I would love to see original Ghetto come back, at least for like a cute little like Jojo death scene,
or just in a way that he teams up with Gojo.
Oh, that would be peak. That would be peak.
So yeah, I'm excited for more Shibuya.
Me too. I can't wait.
I'm curious to see how the manga compares this arc to the anime. Like, I'm curious what people like want to say comparatively to them. If like the anime is doing it better, or stuff they added, it's better.
Everything I've heard when I talk to people is that they think that the Jujutsu Kaisen adaptation is better.
Really?
Which is funny.
Because I'm never too impressed by the art style I see, other than like a couple volume covers. But like if I see like art of the manga, I'm never like super impressed.
Yeah, I can't really think of if I've ever even seen the manga.
I've seen it.
It's really interesting to compare it to Chainsaw Man though, because it's like we talked about how it's kind of an inverse. Like we like the original better. The adaptation is very well done, but it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the je ne sais quoi. It doesn't have that extra thing that the manga really delivers upon.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I gotta know what you're talking about.
Yeah. That's something I would like to see someone do a nice little analysis.
Is Attack on Titan one of those where people usually prefer the anime over like the manga like itself?
A lot of the time, yeah, especially art wise, because people clown on the Attack on Titan art.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything other that I could think like that. Like I'm not sure if like Death Note's like one of those things.
It's really funny that Death Note was the first one that I was thinking about.
Death Note feels like both of those.
Yeah, the thing. Well, it's funny. Death Note was also directed by the guy that did Attack on Titan, so it has a very cinematic adaptation, which is really beneficial to that story.
I'm trying to go over some of those like in my head, but not the long running, like super long running shonens, but like. Cause like not like One Piece or Naruto, you can't really put them in there because they're not, the quality is so like all over the place and like episode length wise.
I would like to point out though that I think that the quality in One Piece, like I don't know, I don't want to say it's gotten worse like art wise in the manga, but as they go further, I feel like it's prioritizing different things.
It's doing the Hunter x Hunter thing where like it's prioritizing like text and. More so than just the art.
There's still a lot of really good like.
Because I've noticed that going through like Wano and Whole Cake, where there's a lot more text now, but there is still some of those peak art moments and stuff in those.
Something that somebody said once that like kind of broke my brain because I think about it a lot is in during Skypiea there is a scene where Robin literally just like it's like 5. It might actually be 9 total pages of Robin literally just walking around in the ruins of like the ancient society there, and like there's no dialogue at all. It's just Robin exploring for several pages, And that is something that is like impossible to imagine in like I'm in like chapter 800 something.
Yeah,
Impossible to imagine
cool,
that happening
like,
in One Piece.
she's not gonna talk. She's not talking to herself. She's just like looking around.
Yeah.
Like her like archaeologist side is like going out.
And I mean, like
looking
Robin
out.
is not a talkative character. Like she's not
No.
the kind of character that thinks even a lot. Like
She
it
talks
just
a little bit, but like when she only talks when like something related to like the thing she's into, like the whole glyphs
Yeah.
and everything comes up.
it makes sense that she would have much more of like a quiet moment. But yeah, it's just
And
funny,
One Piece
like,
not really full of quiet moments like that.
exactly.
Too much.
That's why, especially later on, it's like every chapter. It's kind of like the thing with Dr. Stone too. It's like every chapter has like insane, explosive
It's like
character
the-
moments
but
from everybody.
But I think it's the moment with like they get electricity for like the light bulb go on for the first time.
Yeah.
It's like this quiet, like amazing moment.
Dr. Stone does do that really good. It does a really good job at like focusing in on those smaller moments.
Yeah, but a lot of things don't really
All
have
right.
that pleasure.
We're talking about Jujutsu Kaisen. That's what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
That was like, good. I really want more, and I hate that I have to wait more.
It is really fun.
We gotta try to like get like at least one more episode in or two before we go to Japan.
Oh my god, I just realized that. October is a really hard month for me.
October and beginning of November for me.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. And then we have Attack on Titan when I get back from Japan.
Yes. Oh my god.
Gonna be jet lagged, but I gotta mull it out.
That's gonna be exciting. All right. Anything else to say about JJK?
No, I don't think so.
I know I was bitching a lot in this episode about semantics, but really enjoyed these episodes.
As I said, that action. Because I was worried.
It's what I want when I watch Jujutsu Kaisen.
Like I was worried we were gonna get that action again, like we got in that tournament arc, but it's still very good.
Yeah.
Like they got new person in charge of it, but I'm still happy about it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. There was a change in staff.
But as I said, even everything in that first arc was awesome.
I think that the Mappa understands that this is one of the series they need to pull all the stops for.
Yeah, once they learn, like especially how well the Zero movie did.
Yeah. Just like thinking too, really, I think JJK probably is the biggest, aside from One Piece, which everyone's talking about how that's ending. But JJK really is probably one of the biggest Shonen Jump series right now because it's kind of got the benefit of longevity.
What about that new manga everybody loves?
I don't even know the name.
Okay.
I know you're the fucking meme on
the
Twitter.
fucking meme one, yeah.
Um,
Kagurabachi.
I almost read it.
Kagurabachi.
I almost read it because I opened up my Jump app and I saw it on there, and I was like, actually, I won't read this.
I'm looking like My Hero, which is everybody hate reads for the most part now.
Yeah, which I thought it was supposed to be over by now.
Kaiju number 8 is very like mediocre.
Yeah, that doesn't really have the legs.
It's getting an anime.
I feel like similar to Dr. Stone, like I love Dr. Stone, but it didn't have the legs to be like a real big like main shonen carrier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of why it ended.
Boruto's in his Shippuden phase, so yeah, it's funny. And then, yeah, like I like the big thing. Like I said, My Hero, like everybody begrudgingly read. I think Jujutsu Kaisen probably is like the best thing that's not like Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, which technically isn't on Jump anymore.
Yeah, but it still shows up on my Shonen Jump app.
Yeah, because fucking weird licensing things.
But yeah, unless Kagurabachi gets memed into like stardom.
It would be really funny if that did become a really popular series, like a Demon Slayer, and it started with like the weirdest meme ever.
The peak. But all right, that's everything then? Should we wrap it up?
I'm more thinking about that stupid Kagurabashi thing. I like it actually. It's funny.
You make that the thumbnail instead?
No.
Like
JJK.
I guess we'll plug up the Gojo who's plugged into the jail.
He's plugged in
into the prison realm.
I like how Kami is too about that. He's just like, everyone's got
Yeah,
this.
you got me. Yeah.
There's a kid out there who has the most OP power besides
He's a pretty
me.
epic punch kid. He broke the Black Flash record. Even I couldn't do that. I bet Gojo didn't break the Black Flash record just to not like spite Nanami because he likes him.
Yeah, he did that on. He could have easily done that.
He could have.
He could have gotten like a 20-hit combo if he wanted.
He could have gotten 100. Like, he could have got 1,000 Black Flashes on each of those monsters.
That's
down
what
there.
he's doing inside the jail. He's just practicing his Black Flashes.
I wish his eyepiece was like the weighted clothing in Dragon Ball Z that when he drops it, it just breaks into the ground. Just a weird weight.
It's weighted.
His vision.
Keep his fucking eyelids strengthened.
Yeah, you never know, man. You need it. So yeah, I guess thank you everybody for listening. If you liked it, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't, like the video, all that fun little things. You can also follow the podcast on the Twitter X key, whatever you want. It has Via Jim's handles on there as well. And you also can subscribe to the Patreon and have your name shouted out for however much you leave. And with that, at every plug we got. Last plug standing.
Last plug standing. Just like one of the crazy humans, I got my brain wiped and I'm standing here with no thoughts.
I did like the one shot of all the humans just drooling, standing up. Just like they probably pissed themselves. They definitely pissed themselves having 6 months of knowledge trained to be your brain.
It'd be funny, you know how like Mojito entered the scene. He's like, I love the smell of fear. It'd be funny. He's like, it smells like piss.
Someone mentioned like the smell of mold. I'm like, ugh.
It's what Mechamaru smelled like.
Yeah.
Before he got his
got
himbofied.
After he got his bathtub, just smelled of mold.
He definitely shits and pisses in that thing.
But can't move out of there.
All right.
And
Goodbye.
with that, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.